You tuned in to the 7-day theory. Hard body, hard spirit. What up, my people? Hard body, hard spirit. Check this. Today, we are going to go through this Rolling Stones article that they dropped on David. He's done. He's cooked. It's over. They released a lot more evidence. If y'all don't know, he had a hearing yesterday on Wednesday. Today's Thursday morning. He had was supposed to be a preliminary hearing on May 1st. They pushed that back to May 26th. But yesterday, they did have a brief where they briefed the court and the defense on the evidence that they had. I don't think this is all the evidence they have, because I don't believe it was only a 9-page report. So this ain't all the evidence that they have, but this is more evidence that they just released yesterday. We're going to go through the article which details what was released in that court hearing yesterday. Now, Rolling Stones, this is shout out to Rolling Stones. They did this. They dropped this article. It's on their website if you want to go check it out. But we're going to go over it right now. So it starts with David allegedly murdered 14-year-old Celeste Rivas in his Hollywood home, then dismembered her body with a chainsaw. Everybody was wondering what did he use? Did he use a hacksaw? Was it a 3D printed saw? It was what I always assume, because come on now, with a handheld saw, ain't no way you doing that, going through that. It's not gonna. It'll take you forever and a lot of saws to go through bone with a regular hand saw. So he used a chainsaw. He had 2 of them, by the way, in a blue inflatable pool, a kiddie pool. So he bought a kiddie pool, put her body in it, and that's where he dismembered her at, so there wouldn't be any blood spill on the floor. All right? Okay, so he did this in his garage after trying to cover his tracks with fake attempts to reach her by text and phone. So after he unalived her, he tried to call her and sent text messages to her like, "Oh, where you at? Hey, why you not answering my phone calls?" After he done unalived her already. So already he's trying to mount a defense and put in place an alibi. That, oh, look, no, I couldn't have done this. I called her. I texted her. I didn't know where she was at. Already. This was pre-planned. This was premeditated. That's why he's charged with first-degree murder, people. This was premeditated. That's the damning narrative that prosecutors laid out over 9 pages of a preliminary hearing brief filed Wednesday and released to the public over the objection of David's defense team. Prosecutors claim surveillance video shows the singer driving his Tesla on July 29th, 2025. And they allege he's the one who parked it before he left on tour. It was later towed and impounded, with investigators finding Rivas's dismembered and badly decomposed remains in the front trunk on September 8th, 2025. Now, this was a surprise to definitely me, and I think everybody, because Steve Fisher, who was investigating this crime, private investigator, he said that they have he made it seem like he's seen, or he had video proof that it was not David who parked that car where it was last parked at. That it was actually most likely Neo, one of his best friends, and some say his lover. So the narrative has been, okay, David probably told him to go move the car, paid him to go move the car or something. No, that's false. They have video footage of David, PDF David, driving and parking the car right before it was towed. All right? So that was a surprise to me, for sure. At a court hearing Wednesday, born David Anthony Burke, sat quietly in an orange jail uniform as his lawyers, Blair Burke, argued that the evidence brief was so one-sided it would taint the jury pool potentially needed for a future trial if the court didn't seal it. The judge denied the request, though she agreed to postpone Burke's preliminary hearing, several weeks from May 1st to May 26th, like I just said earlier. Now, the blockbuster brief obtained by Rolling Stone claims Burke first met Rivas when she was 11 years old. 11. At that point, he's like 15 or 16. A 15-year-old putting the moves on an 11-year-old. That's when they first met. Sick already. Sick. 11 years old. I got 11-year-old. And there's no way. He's not even into girls. For real, right now. I couldn't imagine him talking to somebody that's 15. Prosecutors allege Burke began a sexual relationship with Rivas when she was 13. 13. Yeah, that's when it began. 13 years old. And that Riverside County officials contacted Burke in February, contacted David in February 2024 and informed him of her age. So the whole, she was telling people she was 19 and all this. Yeah, probably that's because David was telling her to tell people around them that she was an adult. That was him doing that. Allegedly, that's from my opinion. He probably told her to do that because he's already taken pictures with her with covering her face up. Like almost every picture with them in it, her face is covered or it's just her hand. Okay, so he's the one. He's taking these pictures. He's doing this. He is concealing her to the public and concealing her age because he knows she's a minor. There's no, I didn't know. No, police told you her age. Okay, so that's a fuck. Whoever saying that ain't true. Now, after she was reported missing, so the police told him her age after she was reported missing by her family. Despite being contacted by law enforcement, Burke, David, continued to pursue Rivas. The filing states he allegedly drove to her home in Lake Elsinore and paid a junior high school student in the victim's class $1,000 to give the victim a cell phone that he purchased so they could stay in contact, prosecutors claim. Now we know where that picture comes from. Now, he might have been paying off other students too and people that knew her to keep quiet, but I think that picture of him handing that kid money, I think that was a picture. I think that was he bought her the phone and he gave the student, her classmate, $1,000 to give her the phone. He had to pay them to give her the phone that he had bought. So after she went back home, after the police told him she's 13, this is what he did to still stay in contact with her. Recovered texts between Burke and Rivas contain references to sex, pregnancy, abortion, and use of the Plan B emergency contraceptive. Yeah, you heard that right. References that, so they're talking about abortion. They're talking about David might have gotten her pregnant at one point. And we know how Plan B works. Right, I ain't got to explain that. We know how Plan B works. The brief alleges Burke and Rivas also exchanged explicit photographs documenting and corroborating their relationship, their intimate relationship. It claims, according to prosecutors, Burke broke up with Rivas in November. Wait, before I get to that though, before we move on to that, I said when they found that four terabytes of CP on his phone, I said I got a short on my channel where I said this, that he most likely has photos, videos of her and him together, along with a whole bunch of other stuff he probably got from the internet or people shared with him, right? And he still had that stuff on his phone, right? That's why they were so confident in charging him with lewd and lascivious acts with a minor, with someone under 14. because they have the evidence. It's on video. He recorded it and never deleted it from his phone or his iCloud. They got it. Now, according to prosecutors, Burke broke up with Rivas in November 2024. Though they continue to communicate, the new 9-page filing alleges Burke and Rivas engaged in a lengthy argument described in detail in their text messages. On the night before Rivas was last seen alive, the messages revealed the victim's jealousy over defendants, David, relationships with other women, and they say women, but we know that he was messing with other children. Now, she was not the only child he abused. As David led her to believe they had a future together, the brief reads, Rivas purportedly became extremely upset and threatened to disclose damning information about her relationship with David to end his career and destroy his life, prosecutors claim. This is the evidence. They have the text messages between them. They're arguing. She's mad. She found out that he's messing with someone else, other girls. She's highly upset because he's probably telling her, I love you, you're the only one, blah, 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 I want to be with you, all this. They broke up. She found out that he's messing with other children. Now she's highly upset. And her payback, because we know no fury like somebody scoring, even though she wasn't even that saying applies to a woman. This was a child. She was upset though, and for her, she wanted to get back at him and do the right thing and expose their relationship. That's what she was going to do, and she told him she was going to do that. Right there, right as soon as she did that. Right there in his brain, he concoct. That's motive right there. Plain as day. It's motive. That's why they charged him with lying in wait, murder for financial gain, because she was gonna end his career and go public with this information. All right. Now, straight up prosecution. Burke sent an Uber to. Now, this is the night that she was unalived. They were arguing all this, right? He texts her. He sends an Uber to pick her up. Sent an Uber to pick Rivas up from Lake Elsinore on April 23rd, 2025. This is the day she was unalived. The night she allegedly was murdered. Prosecutors allege Burke texted with Rivas during her ride and that the driver dropped the teen off at Burke's Hollywood Hills. How stupid you gotta be? So you planned all this out, but you sent an Uber, something that can be documented, Cashapp, where it's documented, and had her dropped off. So that's a witness right there. They might know the Uber driver who dropped her off. He watched her get out the car and go into his house. That's a witness right there. They probably got that witness. I wouldn't be surprised if they have that, if they done contacted that witness, and he'll be at the trial testifying. Drop the teen off at Burke's Hollywood Hills address around 10:10 p.m. Burke, David, then sent text messages to Rivas' phone at 10:30 p.m. inquiring where she was. The filing states. So he sent an Uber, but he's sending text messages to her phone saying, "Where are you?" He already unalived her. She got there at 10:10. She was probably unalived by 10:25. He's sending messages by 10:30 to her phone. Where you at? Trying to make an alibi. The people contend this was part of defendant's premeditated plan to cover up the murder, as she was already dead by this time. Like I said, the filing reads, knowing he had to silence the victim before she ruined his music career, and as she had threatened, very soon after her arrival at his home, defendant stabbed the victim to death multiple times and stood by while she bled out. This that when I was reading this, it got me emotionally, mentally sick and disgusted. Just like when I looked at that autopsy report, I got the same feeling, man. This is really disgusting stuff. For somebody, this is really demonic. This evil is really the only thing you can call this. To unalive a child. And a woman at that. This is why David is a coward. He talked all this shit to women. Oh, you can't beat me. Text messages came out where he was texting another girl saying, "You can't beat me. My Tommy will cut your arms off." And he was dead serious when he said this. He said this to somebody, and then he ended up doing that to this young innocent girl that did not deserve any of this. So he thinks he's so tough, but the only violence that you allegedly he was bullied in school. Why you ain't do none of that to none of those dudes that was bullying you in school, right? You only do. This is what I'm talking about. People that put their hands on women are cowards. Cowards. You wouldn't do that to a man. He's 5'5", little small guy. I'm small too, but it's about the heart. You ain't got no heart if you fighting, if you beating on, if you unaliving women. Coward. Coward. Now, by this time, she's already dead by this time. The final rings, knowing he had to silence the victim before she ruined his music career, and as she had threatened very soon after her arrival. Right, I read that. Okay. Prosecutors allege Burke left his home at 11:30 p.m. and texted and called Rivas' phone, asking where she was. Again, these acts were calculated and planned to set up his defense. The filing states. This is premeditated. He's already trying to mount a defense on, he's already thinking about if police looked at her messages, found her phone, or came and questioned him. No, I texted her. I didn't know where she was supposed to come over here, but she never made it. I was texting her. I was calling her. Where you at? She never made it here. This is what we're talking about. Premeditated. Burke allegedly drove to Lake Cachuma in Santa Barbara County to dispose of her property, returning home the next morning to attend a radio interview. He later ordered now this is very important. This is the evidence that they have. He later ordered. Now he left 11:30. Then the next morning he does an interview. And later that next day, he orders a shovel from Home Depot. Which was delivered by Postmates on April 24th. So the next day, he probably ordered it that night or that morning. It got delivered later that day, the next day. And two chainsaws, a body bag. This is where he got that body bag. Heavy-duty laundry bags, and a blue inflatable pool. This is why she had those blue fibers. Nobody could figure out what is this blue. She has blue stuff in her cuts, in where he cut it. How did that get there? Now we know. He's now I don't have to go into detail, but that's where he used the blue inflatable kiddie pool to do this. Which was the pool, which was delivered by Amazon in early May, the filing claims. That's why I think he would have dismembered her sooner, but he had to wait until that pool came. He had to wait until all these things came. The shovel came the next day. The chainsaw and all that, the body bags, and the pool, which is what he really needed. He had to wait till that got ordered in order for her to do this to her body after she was unalived, because he was trying to think as a criminal does, trying to think smart. All right, I can't have blood on my floor. I got to get something that I could do this and not have blood anywhere. But they end up he did this in his garage, but they still ended up finding blood. We're gonna see. They still end up finding her DNA, her signature DNA pattern. Which were delivered by Amazon in early May. I read that. The final claims. Burke made the purchases under a fake name, Victoria Mendez. So he tried to cover his tracks by ordering this not in his name, a fake made up name. And returned to Santa Barbara County twice more. So he went back to Santa Barbara County twice more, where the place where he got rid of her property. He went there 2 more times. Twice more, the brief alleges. He also ordered a burn cage, which he didn't get to use, but he planned on using, which was found at his home, because he was going to burn her stuff or her, whatever, to his home under the same fake name as part of his plan to incinerate evidence. Prosecutors contend he was going to incinerate evidence with that burn cage. Burke allegedly used the chainsaw to dismember Rivas in his garage, using the blue pool to prevent her blood from spilling on the floor. Blue plastic fragments found embedded in Rivas's remains were later matched to the inflatable pool. Like I just said, everybody could not figure out what is that. Is it a 3D printed saw? What is this blue? And somebody did say a tarp or something, but that was kind of close. But I think that was Steve Fisher who might have said that. Somebody said that. That was kind of close, though. Whoever said that. Later matched to the inflatable pool by the LAPD's forensic laboratory. Prosecutors say the filing claims Burke amputated Rivas's left ring finger because it contained a tattoo of his name. So he wanted to make. He thought that she was going to be so decomposed that they wouldn't be able to identify her. So he was trying to get rid of any markers to signal this is her and to link her to him, which that tattoo definitely did. When detectives searched Burke's Doheny Place rental home after Rivas's remains were found, blood samples found in the garage matched the victim's unique genetic profile, the filing states. Like I just said, a Cauldrons worker also found Rivas's U.S. passport card off a highway in Santa Barbara County in January 2026, prosecutors claim. The circumstances and present state of discovery led us to conclude we need this additional time to review the discovery we just got or are about to get. Burke's defense lawyers, Marilyn Bednarski, said at the Wednesday afternoon hearing requesting the probable cause hearing be continued to May 26. Judge Almendo then asked Burke if he agreed to the postponement of his preliminary hearing. Yes, Your Honor, he replied. Burke, 21, has been charged with the first-degree murder of Celeste Rivas Hernandez, the 14-year-old girl found dismembered and badly decomposed in the front trunk of his Tesla last September. Prosecutors also charged him with continuous abuse of a child under the age of 14 and unlawful mutilation of human remains. They added special circumstances, allegations of murder of a witness, murder for financial gain, and lying in wait, which makes him eligible for the death penalty. Burke has pleaded not guilty. Last week, Deputy District Attorney Beth Silverman revealed that Burke's iCloud account obtained by investigators contained what she described as a significant amount of CP. Burke's lawyers, Marilyn Bednarski and Blair Burke, pressed for an immediate preliminary hearing. Judge Charlene Almendo said it would begin this Friday, May 1st. Burke was arrested on April 16th at a house in the Hollywood Hills. Prosecutors said police served a simultaneous search warrant at the property not far from the iconic Chateau Marmont Hotel. Silverman said the case involves a large volume of evidence, including material obtained through wiretap, and that 3 grand juries were convened in recent months to investigate a long-awaited autopsy report released last week concluded Rivas died from multiple penetrating injuries to the upper abdomen. It described 2 stab wounds that perforated her liver and chest. That manner of death was ruled a homicide. The report also described the condition of her remains, noting dismemberment and advanced decomposition that made visual identification and fingerprinting impossible. Toxicology showed a low level of ethanol, and yeah, she had a few drugs in her system. I don't even care about that. That pretty much wraps it up. Sick, evil. I hope he gets everything he deserves. I truly do. I hope he gets everything he deserves. Because he did not have to do this. He did. Let's be clear here. Think about what he did. He's messing with an underage girl. She said, "I'm gonna expose you." So he unalives her to keep his career, to keep from going to jail, from being exposed. Now look at him. Now, so he does he does one crime, but then he does the ultimate, most evil, despicable crime, or one of that you can do to a human being. So he does an even bigger crime to try to cover up that crime, and now look where he's at. Celeste Rivas should be alive right now. Celeste should be alive. There's no reason why he had to. In his mind, yeah, he probably justified it. It probably made sense in his mind, but no, he didn't. He didn't have to do this. This was a life. I don't care what she was gonna do. You don't unalive people. That's the sickest, most evil thing you can do. Unless your life is being threatened and somebody's gonna unalive you, or you're protecting somebody from losing their life, there should be no reason why you premeditate a murder. There should be no reason for that. We should be way past that point as human beings. Just to be honest, we should be way past that. God bless and God rest Celeste Rivas Hernandez. I hope she gets justice. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. Condolences to the family and all her friends, anybody who knew her, loved her. Condolences. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. 7 Day. I'm out.
You're now listening to the 7 Day.